Okay, I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard about this drama, I thought it was about Cinder from Ruby. Is that show even still going? Ruby is pretty cringe, but something that's even more cringe is VTubers.
Oh wait, first.
Now Cinder is not just a VTuber, she's a big VTuber. She's a co-owner of Gamer Subs. Yeah, you know that product you see being sponsored like everywhere? Cinder may have been one of the biggest independent VTubers, but unfortunately for her, she got into it with Bao, who's an even bigger independent VTuber. Now Cinder's avatar is pretty hot, not gonna lie, both figuratively and literally. But this little fire witch girl, or fire demon, or whatever she's supposed to be, found herself in some hot water. She tweeted out on April 26, 2025, "Effective immediately! Redacted will no longer be managing or overseeing my VTuber activities. He no longer represents me as a creator, a brand, or my intentions. I'm sorry, everyone. I will make a large response when I'm able." This immediately caught my interest. After all, where there's smoke, there's fire. If you're wondering who Redacted is, well, it's their significant other. The artist Nanoless tweeted out a doc with all the information of everything Cinder has done. Until, of course, even more docs were released about her. Yeah, once one doc is released about someone, there's always a few more to follow. Word about this drama quickly spread like wildfire, and she lost over 31,000 subscribers at the time of me recording this. And yes, it's steadily dropping. For now, let's go over the first doc by Nanoless, terminating my work with Cinder. The tweet with this document got over 3 million views in 24 hours. Now it should be noted that Twitter views are not the exact same thing as YouTube views. The website does artificially inflate them. However, 3 million, even if it is artificially inflated, is a pretty big number. Introduction and notes. I wanted to share my experience with Cinder and Red manipulating me, using me, and drawing me into drama, while sabotaging, slandering, and spreading lies about people I thought were her close friends. Not only do I no longer wish to work with Cinder, but I want to share what I've endured over the years, and shed light on what she has been doing behind people's backs, to protect artists and friends that might be experiencing something similar. As I said earlier, Red is Cinder's significant other, so this drama is not only about her, but him as well. If you wanted to work with Cinder, you typically had to go through Red first. I struggled a lot with writing this document, and I wasn't sure if what I felt and experienced working was real, or just burnout. But I think this proves that I was lied to, and manipulated over the course of years while working with Cinder. Based on working with Redacted, Red, Cinder's manager, and Cinder over the years, that I'm sure they speak for each other, and there's no reason to believe that Red was acting without Cinder's consent or knowledge. Whenever I use they or them, it refers to both of them acting as a team. Oh god, it's been so long, I forgot they and them used to mean that. English not being my first language and the language barrier, I discussed the situation, my feelings and thoughts with native English speakers, who helped me put them into words, so everything is clear, without any misunderstandings due to lack of English skills. Note, any names that are censored here were censored because the creator in question did not provide consent to have their names revealed by the time of me posting this document. This is the first section of the doc, and it's just words and allegations. But now we're getting into the spicy material with all the evidence they have provided. Slandering other creators. I will start with screenshots showing them speaking ill of other creators, and spreading rumors while manipulating me that it's all in our best interest. In addition to spreading ill rumors, they also complain and accuse Bao of giving their editor too much work, resulting in the editor not having time for new clients, which will be important later on. The screenshots below show them showing their affection and appreciation, immediately followed by spreading rumors and lies to make other clients appear problematic, to manipulate any future decisions regarding commissions. Alright, now we're getting into the evidence. The first screenshot is from January 15th, 2025.
Of course, I wanted to understand it better, especially if I canceled her for a second time. Lol.
Well, with Blank, she's giving a lot of bias and priority at GS, sometimes over Cinder, and we can't really confront them about it. And plus, she's gone 3D lately. Bao has been getting on our nerves for a while. She hijacked our YouTube editor a while ago, and is constantly picking up artists that we work with. We got to know her better being friends with her, but she really rubs me the wrong way with all the things she does. We wanted to try and safeguard our most important artist from her, since she's already taken our editors. And I don't mean taken as in he doesn't work with us anymore. He does, but he also has to dedicate time for her now, and sometimes that gets in the way of our projects.
Okay, I just want to come in here real quick and say that some of my editors and thumbnail artists also work with other people as well, and sometimes they tell me they can't do what I want them to do right now because they're currently working with another YouTuber. I have never once told them not to work with another YouTuber. Every single person who has ever worked for me is not my employee. They're just a freelance person who I hire. I don't pay for their medical, dental, or even give them a salary. I commission them for work and then I pay them.
Also, one of Bao's music video editors is the one that did the Boss Rush music video, and we're 99% sure she told him not to do more with us. But like, model art is the most important thing. That's a VTuber's entire image. While we like working with you, Sinder would not be Sinder without Nano. Okay, but like, let me tell you the tea about the music video thing. Bao had an original song last year that had music videos by her editor, and the songs flopped. Her editor met us at TwitchCon and was saying that he'd love to work with us, practically jumping through hoops to get something planned. We managed to have him squeeze in the Boss Rush music video between his work with Bao. He says he loved working on it and is super excited to work on the next music video project. Boss Rush song blows up, and he's credited as the editor. I ask him when he's free to do the next project. All of a sudden, he changes his mind and is only working with Bao moving forward. No explanation.
Okay, you know what? I don't think you guys want me to read in this annoying voice anymore. Reading a comment or two in a funny voice is fine, but doing an entire 20-page document in a voice like that? Yeah, I would rather spare your sanity. The YouTuber Mujin already made a video going over each and every single one of the docs, so if you wanted more information, just go check out his video. Basically, Red accuses Bao of gatekeeping one of her editors because he edited another music video for a different person, and it did 100 times better than her own music video. Now, being as charitable as I can be towards Red and Sinder, maybe this is a misunderstanding, or maybe Bao really is gatekeeping people from working with them. So let's keep going through this doc and see where the evidence leads us. The doc maker makes the allegation that they got her to cancel her work with Bao mid-progress, manipulating her into doing so by saying, "Oh, well, she has a lot of other people to work with, so you're just another drop in the bucket." Apparently, Red specifically checked on her to make sure she canceled her model for Bao. And yep, the screenshots are showing what the doc maker said is true. I'm not a 3D artist myself, but I can tell you that making a VTuber model takes a lot of time and effort. Like, just the rigging alone sounds like it would take a lot of time. Whenever I hire someone to do something for me and they cancel, it doesn't make me feel good, I can tell you that much. The doc maker makes the allegation that Red was blacklisting them from working with other creators, claiming that they would pay her to work on something as long as she would cancel her commission with another VTuber. Apparently, they overworked her to the point where she could no longer work with other creators, telling her that the more models she made, the less desirable her work would be. I understand the logic, the more common something is, the less valuable it will be. But that doesn't really apply to something like art, unless it's AI art or something. I swear the longer I've worked with thumbnail artists, the higher their prices rose. That's because their art style improved, their name got out there more, and more people wanted to hire them to do more and more art, causing them to start raising their prices. Just because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in every movie ever, doesn't mean his services are getting cheaper and cheaper. In fact, often the opposite happens. But do the screenshots prove this allegation correct? Well, after looking over them, they do. I'm putting them up on screen if you want to read them for yourself. If you're wondering who the 3 VTubers who were blacklisted are, well, it's Bao, Cotton, and Silvervale. Just like Bao, Cotton and Lily are also very well-known VTubers. Now, trying to sabotage 3 VTubers is pretty bad, but they also did the same to a 4th VTuber by the name of Shy Lily. The reason why they were blacklisting Lily was because she, dropped out of doing a collab with Sinder. I can't even tell you how many times people have dropped out of doing collabs with me, and I've dropped out of doing collabs with them. These things just kind of happen sometimes. It's a very bizarre reason to get suspicious over. Red, speaking on behalf of Sinder, is clearly sabotaging the success of other VTubers, all because they're trying to work with the same artist that Sinder is working with. I want to make this clear, these people have publicly been friends with Sinder, and as far as I'm aware, they've never done anything to her. Just gotta stay competitive even when you shouldn't have to. Don't get me wrong, YouTube, TikTok, or Twitch are very competitive. You gotta keep grinding, keep putting effort into your content to make sure that someone doesn't take your spot. But this goes beyond what most people do. Now, this does look pretty bad, but then I started thinking to myself, this is Red saying this. artist, not Cinder herself. Maybe Red is just being an over-aggressive manager. He wants what's best for his client, but he's going too far. Cinder clearly has no idea of his actions, right? But then the doc reveals that Cinder knew what Red was doing. All these screenshots show that Cinder was not only aware of what her boyfriend said, but that she fully agreed with it as well. Redacted, Cinder's boyfriend tries to assure the artist that she can work with whoever she wants, which kind of contradicts what they were implying earlier. The most charitable interpretation I can take from this is that they realized what they were doing was wrong, so they stopped doing it. However, the least charitable interpretation I can take from this is that they're trying to trick this artist into thinking that only working for Cinder was her idea all along. It also probably hit them that if these screenshots ever got out, yeah, it would probably not be a good look for them. Obviously, people like Bao and Cottontail were very hurt when they found out what she said about them. Personally, I think if she was suspicious about them trying to steal her thunder or whatever, she should have tried to reach out to them and talk things out. Bao dropped her own document adding to the information about Cinder. By the way, this document was made and posted only 5 minutes after the first one. Now, she's very nice at the start of her document, basically saying, hey, let's not turn this into a witch hunt. We're all humans at the end of the day and we all make mistakes. She points out that Redacted was using terms like we, our, and other stuff like that, so Cinder was more than likely aware of what he was saying. She alleges that through her experience of knowing Cinder for years, that she knows Cinder and Red work very closely with one another. Apparently, she was in a group chat with a bunch of VTubers, and when she found out that the artist, the one who made the first doc, was no longer going to be working with her, she told her friends that she was very upset, and they of course comforted her. But Cinder did not, mainly because she was the one who told the artist not to work with her. That being said, if Cinder was comforting her knowing what she did, that would have actually made her more scummy in my opinion. Bao would have more than likely never known about this if Nano never released her document. Bao lists off the things that Cinder did to her, and pointed out that she was also pretending to be her friend this entire time.
In bird culture, this is considered a dick move.
If you're mad at one of your friends or you're suspicious of them, you don't have to talk to them. But I guess Cinder wanted to have her cake and eat it too. Allegedly, Cinder was aware that Bao was excited to work with Nano. I say alleged because, well, obviously this is all hearsay. She shows a screenshot which proves that she wasn't trying to steal Cinder's editor, because, well, when has something like this ever happened? I don't think I've ever had an editor stolen from me, which is really weird to say. I mean, after all, they're people, not possessions. Don't get me wrong, sometimes us YouTubers can be slave drivers towards our editors, but we don't actually own them. Hang on a second, what's that editor's name? What? Kaiser? As in Kaiser Trigger? He's been moonlighting this entire time. I need to send the dogs after him. He's escaped the plantation. Hang on. Whoa. Don't go down to the comments just yet. He's Asian. He's not black. Then she shows proof that she never told the editor Zach not to work with Cinder. Then Zach made his own doc going over his own experiences with Cinder. First of all, he explains that he chose not to work with Cinder, not because of outside influence, just because he decided he didn't want to anymore. But the best part of the doc by far is when he addresses the jumping through hoops comment. It turns out, Redacted lied. This guy was not jumping through hoops to work with Cinder. If anything, Redacted was jumping through hoops to get him to work with Cinder. Basically, the DMs can be boiled down to, hey, you want to work with Cinder? Nah, man, I can't. My schedule's full. Redacted even offered him a double pay. I don't know about you guys, but this doesn't seem like a person who's jumping through hoops to work with someone. The doc ends with him pretty much saying they were terrible to work with. The problem is there's not a lot of evidence supporting his claims, so I'm mostly going to skip it. Yet another doc was posted by a user named Rayne. I'm just going to call them Ray. Now, whenever a YouTuber finds himself into a pretty big drama, everything, and I mean everything from their past is dug up and put into the limelight. This doc has just about nothing to do with what's going on. Instead, it's about what she did 4 to 5 years ago, before she was even Cinder. Back before Cinder was, well, Cinder, she went by Tashi, and this doc was written by a guy she was trying to date. Basically, back then, he was the big boy and she was the little girl. Okay, that sounded way less dirty in my head. What I'm trying to say is, he had a lot more clout back then. She was trying to collab with him, but it never really went anywhere. But that didn't stop them from talking almost every single day. She was talking with him pretty flirtatiously, and this goes beyond saying you want to see my cock and sending a picture of a chicken. She vented to him about her boyfriend, they apparently sexted, and a bunch of other stuff. I'm gonna move on because I don't want this video to get demonetized. But yeah, she totally cheated on her boyfriend at the time. Shit like this is why people like Turkey Tom redact all their messages they have with people. Deleting your account won't get rid of them. Eventually, at the least convenient time, everything will come out. Once she became successful and couldn't get anything out of him, she basically stopped talking to him. You know, I can forgive backstabbing your friends, making lazy content, and trying to steal editors from other people, but clout chasing? That's just a step too far. But in all seriousness, I do not like that this guy didn't release this document until now. This is an absolutely cowardly move. Don't get me wrong, it's funny that she said don't leave me when you become a big YouTuber, only for her to leave him when she became a big YouTuber. But yeah, releasing this doc right when her downfall was happening is an absolute bitch move. The next document was released by a VTuber called Spite. Wow, what an interesting name. If you remember from earlier, Spite was another VTuber that Sinder was talking shit about behind her back. To sum up her document, basically Sinder was talking shit about her even though they never interacted. Also, she was accused of ripping off Sinder's design, even though the evidence she provides shows the complete opposite. Now we're gonna go over the doc from Silvervale. She talks about how Sinder was so petty that she was willing to outbid Silvervale if she ever tried to commission her. To sum up the important parts of this document, Sinder really wanted to work with her, but she wasn't interested. And of course, this put her on Sinder's shit list. Haha, forget Schindler's List, it's Sinder's list. Sinder messaged her a day before she got her model cancelled.
Hey Silver, I just got your gamer sub stuff in the mail, and it looks amazing. It's so cute that we both have Nano's art on our merch, since she's both our model mama.
Not gonna lie, this is some light Yagami type shit. After document after document after document was released about Sinder, she realized that her career was burning down to the ground. She was getting flamed left and right, so she knew that she had to make an apology. So was this apology hot or not? Not, it was definitely not. She does confirm that Redacted is her significant other. Then she attempts to throw her boyfriend under the bus. Not gonna lie, it's one of the smartest moves she could have made. After all, most of the screenshots show what he said and not what she said. Granted, she more than likely knew what her boyfriend was saying to people over Discord, and she also cheated on him, which is not a good look. Unfortunately for her, we also saw the messages she sent to other people. And she also confirms that she confided in her boyfriend the frustrations she had with other VTubers. My best guess is that she was using her boyfriend to say the things she wanted to say, and if things ever blew up in her face, she could have just thrown him under the bus. I will say that in my humble opinion, Redacted is actually more at fault than her. After all, we have more proof of what he's done than what she's done, unless of course we include the cheating thing. Yeah, if it wasn't for the cheating thing, I would say it's pretty cut and dry that he's worse. Who knows, maybe he cheated on her as well, but we don't have any proof for that. She makes the claim that the similarities between her avatar and Spite's avatar are purely coincidental. Now whether she's telling the truth here or not, it doesn't really matter. The whole thing with her avatar looking similar to Spite's is purely a drop in the bucket compared to everything else. She confirms that she did cheat on her boyfriend, and she provided the reasons as to why. After going through her apology, all I gotta say is, even if we give her the highest benefit of the doubt possible, she's still really messed up. Of course, I, along with a lot of other people, weren't willing to give her the most charitable interpretation possible. A lot of her statements in her apologies just weren't adding up. Too many eyes were on her and people were poking holes in everything she was saying. Things were already pretty bad for her, but after she made her apology, everything just got so much worse. And of course, after the apology came out, even more information was released about Sinder. I now understand more than ever before why Turkey Tom never apologized for anything. Unless you're pro-Jared for some reason, your apology is probably just going to make everything worse. So is this the end of Sinder? No. Now if she decides to quit, then yes, it will be the end of her. But plenty of YouTubers have done worse than her. Dr. Disrespect. And they still have careers. It's fitting that her name is Sinder because she has burnt every single bridge she had with anyone in the VTuber community. People are going to hate her for a very long time, and it's going to take her about a year or two to start rebuilding her reputation. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, is that this is a cautionary tale of what not to do on the internet.